So we're in Cambrils and we thought we'd better do a little intro because even I was confused, wasn't I?
That wouldn't be hard.
Yeah. So anyway, the first wee bit of this is last Saturday in Moncofa and packing up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we've stopped in a service station. We nearly got robbed a few years ago. Just to talk about the risks.
Yeah.
You still get the creeps there, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame because it's a nice service station. And then we've a wee wander around Cambrils and then the bus to Tarragona and a little whistle stop tour around Tarragona.
And the wee tapas bar.
Oh yeah, our favourite wee tapas bar, yeah. So it's a sad day on the croft today, is it not?
It is that. It is that.
Yep, last one here, last walk on the beach, last wee visit to the supermarket, everything.
Yep, everything.
It's also Rona's last chance to find the perfect stone for me. We're pretty lax in that, I find, Rona. I'm pretty lax in the stone search, I feel.
Go away.
Much moaning about it. I don't
Thank goodness the next beach is a sandy beach.
That's right, aye. Well, you better just put a bit more effort in because there's little time left for this.
Go and waffle your donut.
I think after a few videos, some of these places might be as recognisable to anybody watching these as they are to us, you know. We suspect this front here might be the old village, you know. There'd be boats pulled up here on the shore, I suppose, and these would have been the original.
Yes.
The original houses, I think. The thing is, we've been coming here for years, haven't we? We still find beautiful little, shady little bits like this with lovely little apartments. Beautiful, isn't it? And the thing is, we're walking right up the middle of the street here.
I know.
So little traffic. So this awning has to come down. Now, traditionally, you'd do a time lapse, I suppose, wouldn't you? But as everybody in camping circles knows, anything with poles or pegs is normally called a divorce in a bag. So, you know. So our wee awning is that one. If anybody's interested, I think you can only get them from Decathlon. Dimensions there if they're legible. There's a couple of things that we find really important for long staying, and one of them's a battery charger with a wee tab permanently connected to the battery so that we can easily just plug it in, and we'll do that about every 2 weeks. And the second thing is a tyre inflator with an extra long 12 volt lead so I can run it from the van's leisure battery rather than the starting battery. So we're on the road again. We thought we'd pull off in this service station to show you a risk, a wee risk, you know, the tiny risk there is of opportunistic theft, yeah?
Yes.
Now on this van we've got a tracker, we've got the alarm, we've got the physical security, we have motion detection cameras inside the van, and we have means of defence.
Yeah.
But none of that helps you if you're in the service station and you're in the vehicle and none of that's on. Anyway, it was about 4 years ago and we were towing a caravan with a car, obviously. And we caught in high wind up here, really high. It was gusting to 75 kilometres an hour, we found out after. So we had to get off the road, pulled into a service station with the intent of also trying to get a forecast to see if the wind was going to moderate a wee bit. So we turn off here and we're already a bit freaked out because the wind's had the caravan up one wheel, you know.
Yeah, and I think we parked like there.
Yeah. As we stop, we see a dark coloured BMW running down there in front of the services, yeah?
Yeah.
Quite clearly heading out the way because the fuel's
It's up there.
over at that end, yeah? So I started walking towards the service station to see if I can get the internet. Now what Rona told me then is I started walking away from the car and caravan. Rona noticed that the BMW had stopped over there, had been watching us, and had started heading towards the van as I headed for the service stations. Now they obviously probably expected me to be in the service station for maybe a few minutes, go to the toilet or something like that. Now in fact I was starting to get internet even as I walked towards it. So as I walked in, I've already got the forecast. I'm probably in the place for no more than 20 seconds and I turn round and I come back out again. This BMW had spun round and it had parked about 2 spaces behind our car and caravan. Now Rona saw that in the wing mirrors and thought something not right here, so she jumped out the car. She realises now she should have locked it, but she didn't at the time. Now when I turned round, one of these guys is engaging her outside the car. He's Rona told me after he spun her some tale that they've lost a puppy and could you help him look for it. The tactic being to draw you away from the vehicle. Now what she can't see that I could is one of the other guys is coming down this side of the vehicle and he's heading for the door. That's the tactic, distract you, drag you away a little bit, somebody nicks in, grabs whatever's there. So I'm still pretty far away at this point, and I did the only thing I could do was shout. Now they looked up. Now I still had my phone in my hand. I put my phone up to my ear, perhaps like I was phoning the police or something, and they took off. Anyway, that'll do about that. So this is the other place that does our hat good, doesn't it, Rona?
Yep.
Cambrils.
Yeah.
Famous for its seafood, big fishing port. So obviously we head straight for one of its premier restaurants, don't we?
Yes.
Honestly, McDonald's was rammed, but this is absolutely phenomenal. So this is 100% Rona's favourite activity, isn't it? Looking at fishing boats. Especially when I start to explain what all the winches do and stuff like that. I could spend all day walking about piers. I love the smell, you know, the smell of the nets and things like that. Love the fishing boats.
Minging.
It's because I served my time as an apprentice in a wee shipyard that built fishing boats. I've got a kind of lifelong interest in them now, you know. They just fascinate me.
I hate them.
Well, I think it's like oil platforms. There's nothing on them that isn't there for a purpose. You know, I find that fascinating. So is that explanation of what a cod end's for adequate?
Yes.
Look at this one, a Sevendi, that would do us. I'm pretty sure normal people would be taking shots of the luxury yachts, wouldn't they? I just like fishing boats. So does Rona, really.
No, I don't.
Oh. So if you're coming to this area at all, Cambrils, Tarragona, it's best to get hold of one of these travel cards. And you get one of these cards and you go to the tabac, buy them from the tabac, and you put 10 trips on it. Now last year I think we paid about €13 for 10 trips and the card. And this year I think the price has gone down.
Yep.
We already had the card and it was €6. Just over €6 for 10 trips.
Yep.
So apart from that occasional day trip, here our days pass much the same, don't they?
Yep.
Find a supermarket, kick back and have a couple of beers and chill out. What really fascinates me as well everything fascinates me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is the Roman ruins that are here. And as you walk past them, I think about how much more pleasurable a posting here must have been for a Roman soldier rather than on Hadrian's Wall in England, say, you know. So I'll show you these chairs of ours quickly. They're Coleman sling chairs in khaki, and they're pretty good. They don't recline, but a recliner's far bulkier obviously, but they do fold down well. And we find that the angle they're at is pretty much ideal. You can fall asleep in it, you know, but you're upright enough to read a book and so on. So it works quite well for us, but they do have one problem. Now that problem is that these feet don't come with this on it. They're made of this square section aluminium, and what they've actually got under here is one of these little plastic caps, and they wear fast. On hard ground they just wear away fast. Now these are just these things that you get for putting over chair legs. These are 25mm. I think we bought them for a couple of euros for 4. We actually keep a spare pack in the van as well, and that solves that problem. Oh dear, not a stone to be seen.
Hallelujah.
Walking from La Losa into the middle of Cambrils is like 15 minutes.
15 minutes, yeah.
At our pace, you know, you do it about 10 if you wanted to. Now the seafood restaurant that we were in the other day there, it is expensive, and it's right in the middle of Cambrils where there's a whole row of expensive kind of places.
Yes.
You can go and have a burger or a bocadillo or whatever, and it's cheaper, you know. But there's loads of little restaurants either side, just on the side of the town. We walked past about 3 or 4 of them, even walking in here, didn't we?
Yeah.
And generally there's just a fine wee selection of shops and backstreet restaurants to peruse, isn't there?
Yeah, you just wander.
Just a bit more to it. Wander, that's what we're doing in the last place. Is that all we do?
That's all we do.
Just wander?
Wander and drink.
Oh, I don't know about that. What, do you drink?
No, I don't drink.
I thought not.
I'm a teetotal.
You do get some bargains. That wee bar behind me, La Quieto or something it's called. on a Wednesday they do 2 bits of tapas and a small beer for €3, don't they?
Yeah.
We've found in that place, La Selva, which I think is the jungle, I think, isn't it?
I think so.
La Selva, that's pretty funny. I once had
yeah.
a dessert or a pudding or a sweet, whatever you want to call it, in there, and the guy set fire to it.
Oh, it was amazing.
No idea why, but it was pretty funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get cheap food in these, these front restaurants as well, but certainly there's some fantastic seafood as well in here,
Yes.
isn't there? So Cambrils, great place, isn't it?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, you've got shops and bars and restaurants and supermarkets galore. But today we're going to Tarragona in the bus.
Big day out.
Big day out, yeah. Using the 10 bus trip ticket I bought yesterday, which is actually called a T10, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think one of the great things about Tarragona is when you walk out the bus station, you're pretty much in the main drag, aren't you?
Yes.
If you turn right up here, it's very much like the Ramble in Barcelona, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this direction we're heading up here goes to the sea. At the other end, the main attraction for us really is the big Spanish department store, isn't it? El Corte Inglés. So very much like the Ramble in Barcelona, a bit wider, but you have this wide boulevard up the middle you can walk up there, with the traffic either side. Pretty nice. There's quite a lot of interesting things to see up here as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So if you get to that big roundabout there and turn right,
Turn right.
you end up in this sort of outdoor market,
Yeah.
but also at the entrance to the indoor market. If you come down the escalators that are inside the covered market, there's a Mercadona below it, which is really good. But more importantly, there's toilets. And back up to the covered market. But somehow we always end up in this wee tapas bar in the covered market, don't we?
Yeah.
It does seem to be mostly locals, isn't it, that use
Definitely,
it?
yeah.
No food left on it.
Oh dear, what pity, we'll have to get more.
We'll have to get more. Now the thing is here, we arrived late morning. They're now switching the food round because it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
And we may find we have to stay a little longer,
Oh dear.
which is going to make it harder to visit the Roman ruins, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
But we're troopers, so we'll give it a go.
Troop on.
Now one thing about this wee tapas bar here, it's very much Catalan. So a little bit of Catalan goes a long way.
Yeah.
It's not hard because Google Translate knows where you are. So this place here, then after a couple of small beers you can come out the other side of the market and walk back to the Ramble and continue up the street, can't you? To the sea and the Roman ruins.
The Roman ruins.
When you get to the end of the Rambla, there's a big match statue, which is pretty much the same as Barcelona, I think. Then you're into these wee streets that probably have some real history, aren't they?
Yeah.
Real history. So yeah, it's a really, really interesting wander about here. Again, one to throw the map away and just cruise around these side streets and see what happens.
And down these steps after problems with.
Yeah, one of the things that always astounds us is these steps. Now, my understanding was that Romans were, back in the day, little short arses.
Just
But
like
these steps, they've taken a massive step to go down.
and you hold on to.
I know, I really don't understand. Even I struggle with them a little bit. And I'm 6 foot dead on,
In your dreams.
Now, I'm not saying this place is Harrods, but when you're starved of entertainment as we are, it pretty much is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not that we ever actually buy anything, obviously, but it passes a couple of hours. Just floor after floor of premium goods we're never going to buy, isn't it? And it has the cafeteria on the top floor, of course. So the rooftop restaurant might not have the best view in the world, but it does for us, doesn't it? Yeah. That's a whistle-stop tour of Tarragona. Now, we've been on the go for about 7 hours, haven't we?
Yeah.
We did spend 2 of them in a tapas bar, though, didn't we?
Yeah, perhaps.
But, the bus going took about 55 minutes, but it made a lot of detours because of roadworks. You can get there in about 35, I think, depending on what bus you get, I mean, that one coming back was express and it could have been 25,
Yeah.
It was pretty quick. but definitely well worth a visit. So I think that'll be about us for this week, I think. And I think next week we'll probably go to Salou. So we've got to say cheerio to Cleo, Charlie and Joey again. And hope everybody's a great week, and we'll see you next week.